How did the Civil War affect the standard of living in the North? How did the Civil War affect the standard of living in the North? This question opens a window into a time of both challenge and change. The Civil War brought about a mix of economic growth and hardship for many people living in the northern states. At the beginning of the war, the North faced shortages of goods that were typically supplied by the southern states. Items like cotton, tobacco, and sugar became either very expensive or hard to find. This situation forced northern consumers to get creative. For example, many families started raising sheep for wool instead of relying on cotton. They also turned to honey as a substitute for sugar. These shortages led to rising prices for everyday necessities. During the war, inflation surged by about 80%. This meant that the cost of essential items, such as food, clothing, and coal, increased much faster than wages. For instance, the prices for eggs and potatoes saw significant hikes. To cope with these rising costs, many families, especially those living in cities, began growing home gardens. This helped them supplement their food supply and manage expenses more effectively. On the flip side, the northern economy saw rapid industrial growth during the war. The demand for raw materials led to a boom in industries like textiles, iron production, weapons manufacturing, and leather goods. Railroads expanded significantly, improving transportation and making it easier to move troops and supplies. This industrial growth marked a shift from a primarily agricultural economy to one focused more on manufacturing. However, not all workers benefited from this economic expansion. Many northern workers experienced a decline in their real earnings due to inflation. Labor conditions were often tough, with long hours and low pay. This was especially true for women, who increasingly entered the workforce in manufacturing roles. As wages lagged behind rising living costs, worker unrest and strikes became more common. To finance the war effort, the government raised taxes and introduced income tax for the first time. This added to the financial burden on northern citizens. Additionally, the printing of more paper money contributed to economic instability and further inflation. In summary, while the North's industrial capacity grew during the Civil War, improving its long-term economic power, many individuals faced a lower standard of living in the short term. Rising prices, wage stagnation, and increased taxation created challenges for the civilian population. The war accelerated the North's transition to an industrial economy, but it also brought economic difficulties and social tensions for many of its residents.